So this is my 2021 Polaris Sportsman 570 base model. I'm going to be installing a Superatv power steering kit. I did start tearing it down last night. Didn't really think to start taking the video until now. But this is about how far you have to tear it down to get started. You know, it's the plastics, the headlight pod, the gas tank, and then you have pretty good access to where this steering shaft would be, which was right here. I got that out. You see it's down there. I'm ready to start installing the electronic kit. This is everything it comes with. So you got a pretty beefy motor, nice ECM, nice powder coated bracketry, new shaft, hardware, and a harness. All right, so I'm going to start installing and see how it goes. All right, so the first step is put the bracket on top of the motor like that with those 3 bolts. Then you come over here. They want you to put this piece in. Uses the OEM hardware, which the bottom of those are 13mm nuts. Also OEM bolts, 14mm top and bottom. Then you have these 2 brackets you put in, 10mm top, 14mm bottom. I didn't tighten those all the way yet because it looks like the motor has to slide in and the brackets have to line up. So I'll do that next. All right, so I have everything bolted in. I just gotta go back and tighten everything. I left it a little bit loose to make it fit a little easier. So we put the motor in. There's a bolt to tighten that up. That's 12mm. So the bracket we bolted to the electric motor bolts to the L brackets. We bolted to the frame previously. These bolts are all 10mm head with a 13mm nut. I think I said 14 earlier. That's wrong. They're 13. We have the 3 14mm bolts that hold the electric motor to the bracket. And then coming up here, we got the new shaft. This is the OEM piece. Put a little bit of grease in there. Now I'm just ready for the next step. All right, before I go through putting it all back together and having a problem here, I want to test it, make sure it actually works. Wiring is pretty easy. We got 12 volt power, 12 volt ground, an ignition wire. Per Superatv, we don't use the speed sensor wire on the 570. So it was just those 3 wires and plug in the harness to the computer. It's all pretty simple. So this is already on. I'll turn the power on. Oh, it's off. Now it's on. See the red light blinks for a second and start up. It's normal per the instructions. And then looks like it's working. Pretty easy to turn this with 1 finger here. All right, I guess we're good to start putting it back together. All right, so I'm mounting the ECM bracket. My machine did not have the existing heat shield and holes like the instructions say. I did contact Superatv. They told me that these bolts are actually self-tapping, which they are, and to drill a 0.196 inch hole, which is, I'm using a 3/16, it's close enough. I hit them with some spray paint real quick before I drive them down. Just try and mitigate any rust in the future. So I'm gonna tighten that down next and mount the computer. So real quick, I just want to point out that I did leave a little bit of space here for clearance with the shock tower, about a finger width. All right, I didn't take any video when I disassembled it, so I'll kind of explain it as I reassemble it, kind of backwards, but you get the point. So to take out the gas tank, it was this bolt. I did loosen this bolt to get that heat shield loose. And then you come over to the other side, you have this breather that went on there, just like that. And then the gas line itself, you pull that clip apart, and I was able to get it off of there. So I'll put it back on, that one like that. Put it back on. And I just gotta tighten down those bolts real quick and the gas tank will be back on. Okay, a couple things to catch up on. I forgot when I was covering the gas tank, there's a plug for the wiring harness for the fuel pump. Very important. I got a little bit ahead of myself putting the plastics on before I remember to stop, take a video. So the big plastics up front have these 2 bolts. They're Torx heads. I don't remember what size, they're smaller, 15 or 20 maybe. There's a 10 millimeter going up on both sides of the plastics. We have push pin here, same on the other side. So you need to take this piece off first. So you gotta take the gas cap off. There's a push pin at all 4 corners. And under here, you can kind of see there's another Torx head with a nut. Those gotta come off, and then the whole front plastics come off. So I believe prior to 21, the battery was in the rear or lower, or not where it is on this one, as far as I know. So the power lead on this kit is extremely long. I'm gonna work on shortening that up, clean up the wiring, finish assembling everything, and then we'll give it another test. All right, so for the headlight pod, it's got, this cover has 4, I think they're T25 screws holding that in. The headlight, you take the adjuster screw out. There's 2 little rubber band O-ring looking things to hold the light on. You unplug it, that comes out. For this part, there's another Torx there, or Torx there. Come around here, there's a 3rd in the middle. You unscrew this ring, and then this will all come out, and you just unplug everything. I have, a couple switches here, so you might want to take a picture of what wires go where to help you out in the long run when you're going to put it back together. And I'm just working on the wiring. See, I did shorten the power so far. There was quite a bit of extra cable. And I'm just trying to clean up this mess. Like I said, I got 2 different light bars, hand warmers, a lot of wiring here. Just gonna try and neaten this up, and we'll go from there. All right, so everything's back together. For the rack to come on and off, the front rack, you undo these little O-rings, be able to pull that pin out. There's a screw on each side holding the strap, and you just kind of wait a little bit, it'll come right out. So it's all back together, like I said. Make sure it works. Okay, looks like we're still operational. I'm gonna get ready to take it down the street real quick. See how it does. All right, so just ran it down the street real quick. Works great. Steers a lot easier than it did without the kit. I don't see any real issues, and hopefully I can take it out for a full ride soon.